that you're already, yeah, that time of year is back. PPL live, it's time to crown another champ. 2023 to 24, it's going down. Lots of competition, only one can wear the crown. Hope that you're already, yeah, the time of year is back. PPL live, it's time to crown another champ. 2023 to 24, it's going down. Lots of competition, only one can wear the crown. Squad underestimated, finally won his first shit. They put the work and made some trades, yeah, that was good shit. But don't get comfortable, the league is filled with champions. Don't sleep on your opponent, better stay away from ambience. We back again, another year of PPL. Back to talk smack again, we treat it like the NFL. Time to stack your rosters up and build your best to never fail. By week 6 we take advantage, if you're weak cause we can tell. You better bring your A game, be solid like an A-frame. A new year but the same thing, you better be ready to bang bang. It's showtime, PPL live is ready to go. Gino the Jet will let you know it won't be easy, that's for sure. When the pads smacking, bones crack, yeah, you gotta love that. Glad it's back, PPL, let's run it back. Live show, speak the facts, analyze and talk the trash. Play the game to win the cash, never try to end the blast. Hope that you're already, yeah, that time of year is back. PPL live, it's time to crown another champ. 2023 to 24, it's going down. Lots of competition, only one can wear the crown. Hope that you're already, yeah, that time of year is back. PPL live, it's time to crown another champ. 2023 to 24, it's going down. Lots of competition, only one can wear the crown. PPL live.
PPL Live, Week 8. We are back after our mid-season interlude. It is time to get into the second half of the season. Time to get on that road to Pantheon Cup 15. Gino, the gent here with my man Ulysses S. Hey, give him a what's up, Ulysses.
What's up, PPL?
We're here. We're back for the remainder of the season to give you all the action in the PPL. But before we dive into Week 8, you know we got to take an eye back to Week 7. Starting with ATG, Appease the God, getting a big win to get their season back on track. 100 to the Argonauts, 84. Only for the boss. Leaves no doubt. Resounding win over their championship rival Patty's Twins. 149 to 111. Squad underestimated gets a big win to get their championship defense back on track. 123 to 97. The Gaff attack. No starting QB on the other side, no problem. 110. The BGT's feudal 78. And I Need About Trey Fitty gets 2 in a row on the hotter side of things in the PPL. 125 to 83. Man, what did you think of this week and last week? We took a week off, man. What do you think about the developments of interconference warfare?
Well, no, I'm really excited about it. I mean, halfway point in this campaign season, and things are shaking out. But, I mean, really, everybody's still in this. I mean, with our playoff format, 6 deep, I think that we've got a lot of football to play, and I'm just excited to get into it. Everybody's still got a shot.
Oh, definitely, man, definitely. And, you know, Trey Fitty trying to revive themselves, man. Very, very good on their end. It's good to see. It's good to see. And speaking of good, let's get into the good, the bad, and the ugly. I already know, man. I think I know where you're going this week, man. Give it to me. What's your good, bad, and ugly? If you want to blend 7 and 8, you can go for that. But you know, mainly week 8. What did you think of the recent happenings in the PPL?
Well, I definitely think that a couple of these are trending in that way, but I'll say that my good is definitely going to I Need About Trey Fitty.
Okay, yeah, agreed.
I mean, this dude was dead in the water, 0-5. Like, we were talking, there were teams that were out. Okay, we may be wrong.
Yeah.
And it's because of how he has scored the last 2 weeks. What impresses me is that, you know, he's doing it this week without those Jets who were pivotal to the big breakout last week.
Right.
But again, Etienne's looking like he's legit. That Jacksonville offense is really starting to pick up. And again, these guys just started to deliver. And even though Green Bay, Jordan Love, it wasn't looking great, I mean, he did enough here.
Yeah.
And again, went out, and what I've liked the last 2 weeks, Trey Fitty getting out there and finding that coach win, finding that defense.
Definitely.
That Ravens D looking really impressive. And again, he's got some scoring potential, especially, I mean, hey, don't like to see guys get injured.
Right.
But Dalton Knox getting injured. Kincaid's basically the only tight end up in Buffalo right now.
Yeah.
And so that puts him in a spot to potentially, get some reps where Kyle Pitts is, or potentially be some trade bait. So it'll be interesting to see what Trey Fitty does. But I think he's been on a great streak.
All right, man, give me your bat.
Bad's got to be the Argos. I mean, talking about a streak.
Definitely.
Third in a row. And what I'm going to say about this one is this was highly winnable, right?
I mean, the last two were, man. I mean, they
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and let's say that, he got 20 points off the Ravens coach, but again, Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews on the other side, really wasn't a lot else going on.
Yeah.
With the Peas of Gods, and they had a coach loss. They were opening the door here. It was just, again, Justin Herbert not getting it done. Alexander Madison, again, had some decent runs, but whenever it came time to get near the end zone, it didn't even look like they were considering this guy.
Right.
And again, just disappointing weeks from guys. You need more than 9.2 from Devontae. You need more than 5.9 from Cooper. Again, Packers D, he could have went somewhere better, but it just it started off bad. Calvin Ridley, 1 point Thursday night. So Argo's got to get some together here. They're one of traditionally the highest scoring teams. 84 ain't gonna do it. This bye week and injury, it was bad. But I think again he can turn it around. He's got the talent.
And what do you think's your ugly, man? Let's hear it.
Ugly's, it's obvious what ugly is. BGT, man. Look, man, to not start a quarterback, to not start a running
to
back.
wave the white flag that early, man. And he's got he's three. He was 2-4. I mean, there was still a lot of potential.
Well, and again, we're talking, our good this week is another 2-5 team.
Right.
So let's be real here. I'm looking at how you're playing right now, and it's ugly.
Yeah.
This was a white towel move, and again, Gav put up 110, which is respectable. But when you look at the dynamics of this game, hey man, this guy took a big loss with that Lions loss. That 110, you could have got this if you, again, were more attentive to your lineup.
Right.
And got a quarterback in there. Again, you could have at least made this competitive. And so, to me, I just hope that the BGT gets things together.
Yeah.
They're definitely in the doghouse right now. That's what I got, Gino.
No, definitely, man. Definitely. Not setting your lineup, realizing things too late, where you can't even get a quarterback because guys are locked. And I mean, let's talk about it. I mean, even with he probably would have went Deshaun Watson if he would have set his lineup, and he would have done worse than our guy Joe Burrow did on the bye. So I mean, it was nowhere for BGT to go. Very, very ugly. Man, my good has got to be the hottest team in the PPL right now, only for the boss. Leaving no doubt on Patty's Twins, getting a big performance out of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. A combined 69 points with the coach win. Cleveland D coming through. The boss looks well-oiled and ready to get back to the Pantheon Cup and avenge last year's defeat and show that, maybe they didn't get a fair shake at things last year, which is something that has been going around league circles. They're definitely on the warpath right now and making a point. And I think that they are definitely a team that's going to have to be contended with when it comes down and the smoke clears at the end of the PPL season. My bad, man, it's got to be the United Players, the Destroyers. It was just really nowhere for them to go, and it was because they didn't do a good enough job early on of preparing themselves for contingencies. They should have known that they would have this many guys on a bye, maybe make some adjustments weeks earlier so that they weren't in this situation, and it really came back to bite them in the end. Now, some of their studs didn't show up, but I'm also looking at other positions where they could have done better and maybe got to look at things to prepare themselves for the bye week. they are still in the driver's seat as far as their season goes. They can still win the Omega Conference title, but they went into interconference warfare, I believe, tied for first place. They're now looking at a situation where they may be falling behind in the conference, so they better get something done and get something done quickly. And my ugly man is a team that you and I both picked to do big things, and maybe we're beating a dead horse at this point, but it's the Skulls, man. 2-5 record at this point in the season. That marriage between that Josh Allen and Bill's coach has probably got to become a divorce at some point for the Skulls. They cannot continue to rely on the Bills coach week in and week out. I mean, if they went with another coach, they get the win in this situation because they probably squad underestimated to have to play their coach. Their coach would have lost, and that would have swung the score the other way. It's just the little things with the Skulls right now that's keeping them from being an upper echelon team in the PPL. But they definitely have the potential. It's just sad that the season's getting ugly and out of hand already. 5th in the Omega Conference, 2-5 record. And this is not what we expected from a team with so much talent and so much potential. But that being said, what's past is prologue. It's time to jump into week 8 and see where things go. And we start in a huge matchup of previous Pantheon Cup champions, in a huge one in the PPL, as the defending Pantheon Cup champion Squad Underestimated take on Patty's Twins in a pivotal matchup in the PPL. All right, Ulysses, a big one here. Some big-time talent in this one, receiving talent. We got Keenan Allen going up against Tyreek Hill. Austin Eckler against Christian McCaffrey. We got Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley. Studs everywhere. Amon-Ra St. Brown out there. What do you think of this one? A star-studded matchup for the start, or for the ending of interconference warfare, should I say. Squad Underestimated in a rematch from the playoffs of Wild Card Weekend last year against Patty's Twins.
I think I've got Squad opening our play with, I'm going to say the lock of the week.
Okay.
And I think for a few reasons, and I'll put a contingency on this lock of the week.
Okay.
It really comes down to Barkley.
Hey, man, can't be no contingencies if it's lock of the week, man.
Well, but this is what I'm saying is I think both of these guys play. Like, there's question marks on them right now, but I think they play, and I think that's why they go.
Okay,
if they don't play, if they don't play, he's got Ezekiel Elliott. All bets are off. And so, but I think that these guys do ultimately play. I think these are precautionary ones, especially guys with injury histories. They'll end up playing. And I think I just like the rest of his lineup. I mean, Kirk Cousins, Green Bay's not looking great, and they're not looking poised, and they've looked pretty terrible at home.
Okay.
I think all these other games are value matchups. I like his going Miami heavy this week against New England. I think that they played pretty good last week against Buffalo. I just don't know if they
play well in the division, man.
Yeah, exactly. They do, and we'll see. But I think Miami's due for it. And again, Tyreek Hill has not been able to be stopped, so I don't think that it's going to happen this week.
Right.
And again, I think that this, there's a lot going on with this San Francisco-Cincinnati game. Purdy's currently in a protocol, so we'll see what that looks like and what that does to this matchup.
Yeah.
But again, I think he ends up going. And so that's why I think all the stars align here. I think Squad gets it done. Patty's a talented team. Again, it's just been nobody's been really standing out, right?
Okay.
And so and I think that maybe is the key here. If they win, Eckler's going to need to show out. Jonathan Taylor's going to need to show out. These guys,
fair.
I mean, she has. I've been talking about it. Jordan Addison before the injury. Now he's even emerging even more.
Yeah.
I think that's a great addition to the lineup, especially with the current composition, and it's a major check on Squad here. So I mean, things can line up, but Patty's Twins just hasn't been blowing me away with their scoring. And again, got some doubts with that 49ers coach. We got to see what's up. And again, Cincinnati, that's going to be a pivotal game. I've got Squad though pulling this one out. I've got them going 144 to the Twins 128.
Okay. I'm going the other way. I'm liking the potential of Patty's Twins this week. Matthew Stafford goes to Dallas. He's a Texas boy. He loves to play at Jerry World. I expect a pretty good day from him. And I think that Puka Nacua, I think he's going to draw Stephon Gilmore, and I think they're going to try to bracket Cooper Kupp, meaning that Matthew Stafford is going to probably be able to throw wherever he wants to. I'm looking at Austin Eckler. Now, will they be able to sack Stafford? Yeah, for sure. They are going to be able to get pressure on him, but I think that he's going to be able to have a solid day. I'm looking at Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen against that Chicago defense on Sunday Night Football. This is the game the Chargers need desperately at home. They got to get this win, and I expect that those guys to play a big role against that team. Amon-Ra St. Brown to close things out on Monday night is probably the best place to have him against the Raiders defense. It's been solid but unspectacular. I mean, they really got exposed against, I think, that Chicago defense or offense, who were playing, I believe, a rookie quarterback that was like playing D2 ball. So I think that Jared Goff is due for a get-back game at home on Monday night, and I think Amon-Ra could be a big part of that. We talked about Jordan Addison. Now, on squad side, I mean, what's not to like? Alvin Kamara at Indy. Kamara is having a great season with Derek Carr because Derek Carr is the king of the dump-off, and Kamara is the king of the short catch. So those guys are a perfect match made in heaven. Saquon Barkley, it's going to be interesting to see how he does and how his injury history works out. He's been able to stay healthy, but he's always nicked up from time to time. Tyreek Hill didn't practice today, but I expect that to be precautionary. Puka Nacua got the lion's share of the targets against Pittsburgh. Will that continue against Dallas? We'll see. Sam Laporta is a good check on Amon-Ra St. Brown on Monday night, and could be very, very sneaky in this matchup. But in the end, I think that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be a tough matchup for the 49er defense. I think that game can get high scoring. I don't like their defense as much, and they've shown they've shown a lack of being able to get pressure on the quarterback the last couple of weeks. This is why they've lost the last two games. That Dolphins coach, I don't really trust them in that divisional matchup. But like I said, I don't trust the Niners either, so that's a wash. In the end, I think the Twins find a way to get by and open the matchup with an upset. I got Patty's Twins getting this win 132. The squad underestimated is 129. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into a big matchup in the PPL for both teams. Are they waving the white flag? Both of them are 2-5, but both of them need to stay alive. We got the Baby Gas team taking on the Skulls. All right, man. Skulls, BGT. Big one for these two teams, obviously. Both of them desperately need this win. Obviously, the Baby Gas team didn't care for the win last week, so I think the pressure's really on the Skulls here, man. What do you think of this matchup, Baby Gas team, Skulls?
I think that you're absolutely right. I think that the pressure is on, and I think that they struggle this week. We saw Josh Allen and company lose a game that I don't think they should have last week.
Right.
Tampa Bay. I mean, I think it surprised a lot of people with how they've performed with Baker Mayfield. And, again, we'll see what that looks like. But I look down this. I mean, Ramondre, again, a little bit of life, but I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced with anybody really in Green Bay. Chris Olave with the arrest, you don't know how that's going to maybe impact his play. Lions base, who knows if he sees a sanction? We'll see.
Yeah.
Absolutely hate the Raiders D at Detroit. Jared Goff plays especially well at home.
Yeah.
When I look at the other side, BGT really hasn't done anything to the lineup as far as I can tell. This is just a function of the Bengals aren't going to be on the bye.
Right.
And again, we're starting to see some cracks in the San Francisco armor right now. And so before the bye week, Cincinnati was starting to get it together. You better believe that they have this game on the calendar.
Yeah.
And so, before and now they really are.
Yeah.
Deontay Johnson coming back. Hey, if it gets ugly in Kansas City, they're going to need to throw to Jerry Jeudy as much as possible. Again, Mike Evans showing to be the target out in Tampa Bay. I like the Dolphins against New England.
Yeah.
I think that they'll just be able to pressure, and Mac Jones is liable to give up some fumbles, sacks, and potentially picks.
Yeah.
And I think the Falcons get Tennessee. So I think that BGT wins this one in a close one. I'm going to give him 119 to the Skulls, 111.
All right, man. I'm going the other way in this one. I think this one's got to be the Skulls here. Now they may need to make some lineup adjustments. Heck, they might even need to make a trade. I mean, they haven't put Jamar Chase in yet. He should probably come in for Olave, who may have to serve a suspension or may be out this week based on his legal situation. But I'm looking at Josh Allen at home against Tampa Bay on Thursday night. This is the perfect get right game for the Buffalo offense and the defense. Baker Mayfield is read his first read and roll to the right. He's very, very predictable. I think the Buffalo defense should be able to get on track and get some sacks, and I think that'll open the game up for Josh Allen and them to run away with this one. This could be one of those 20-point coach wins on Thursday night early on, or Buffalo can play down to their competition like they have at times this season. Who knows? But I think this is a game that they're going to be very focused on, especially after blowing that game to the Patriots at the end there. I'm looking at Ramondre Stevenson. He finally got loose against the Bills and looked pretty elusive and pretty strong in his running game. I expect that to continue against the Miami defense. They didn't look all that hot on defense Sunday night. Aaron Jones getting back in the lineup. We'll see what he does against Minnesota. But that Packer team all around just looks anemic right now. Darren Waller, he got very active in that game. For the Giants against the Commanders. That should continue against the Jets. I think that they probably want to look at playing Tyrod Taylor a little bit more. Now, on the BGT side, Joe Burrow does have to go against that San Francisco defense. I expect him to have a solid day, but I don't know how good of a game he's going to have. He is a guy that they'll probably be able to break that streak of no sacks and get to. I like Josh Jacobs on Monday night. Deontay Johnson against Jacksonville. They have one of the worst secondaries in pro football. But at the end of the day, I'm just not feeling Jerry Jeudy in that lineup. Evan Ingram does get a lot of targets for the Jags. And Mike Evans is always a matchup nightmare. But I'm not feeling the Falcons at Tennessee. Although I hear Tannehill might not play. Now, if Tannehill doesn't play, I do like the Falcons a lot more. And I'm not liking the Dolphins' defense right now. The BGT or the Skulls may need to do something about that Raiders defense, but I like the Bills coach. And at the end of the day, I think the Skulls have more talent all around, and I think that they find a way to get this matchup. I got the Skulls winning this one, 117 to the BGT's 110. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into a big one. A big one for both of them because the Trey Fitty's hot and the Gav needs to stay out front. We got the Gaff attack taking on I Need about Trey Fitty. All right, man, I laid it out right there, man. Both of these teams need this game. The Gaff needs to gap out. Trey Fitty needs to try to get back on track. A win here would do wonders for them. They don't have any conference wins, but if they get out of interconference warfare 3-0, that sets them up for a potential run in the second half. What do you think about this one, man? Trey Fitty and the Gaff.
Yeah, I think that, the Gaff got a blessing last week, and BGT really not showing up. But again, I think that the Gaff, probably didn't even need it. They were in pretty good shape in that matchup. Right. But let's look at this week. I think that I need about Trey Fitty. I like the lineup. I think C.J. Stroud is not the worst call here. I think
I like what he's doing.
Yeah, I like this matchup. I like Breece Hall. I like James Cook. Waddle, Garrett Wilson. The one that, again, I might consider flexing out would be Kyle Pitts for Kincaid. Again, I think he's going to get volume. But again, I think Kyle Pitts is a reasonable start there too. Etienne is a lock. I love the Ravens D. Yeah. And I think the Chargers get the coach win. I think that Trey Fitty puts up a respectable line here what I look at on the other side, though, is the Gaff has Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown playing a Washington team that I think that they can really get dumb on.
Okay.
Now, there's some question marks. Kenneth Walker and Hockenson both facing lower limb injuries. So you've got some question marks. But, again, these guys are tough, and I think they're going to get it. Detroit got embarrassed last week.
Yeah.
But Jahmyr Gibbs showed out with Montgomery out of the lineup, so I think that he does well against Las Vegas, who's terrible. He has the coach, and I think the Lions get get back at it and get a 20-point coach win here.
Okay.
CD should get it done against the Rams. I just like the lineup that he has here, and again, having the Kansas City kicker at Denver, I think he's going to be involved in that matchup.
Okay.
I've got the Gaff actually in a leave no doubt performance, just eking out past the squad. 146 to I need about Trey Fitty's 131.
Okay. I'm with you, man. I got the Gaff in this matchup also. I really do like what Trey Fitty's been doing. And it looks like that rookie strategy starting to pay off. A lot of young guys in this lineup. I'm looking at Breece Hall, C.J. Stroud, second year, first year guy. James Cook, second year guy. Waddle, I think second or third year. Garrett, also second year. So his strategy may be starting to pay off here. Travis Etienne, obviously the breadwinner in this team. And he's really, really starting to put it up. He's the guy that he's pretty much built his team around, and he's really starting to pay the dividends of that. Hopefully they can continue to get things done as the season goes along. But I'm looking at the Gaff here, man. They're looking like one of the high-power teams in the PPL this season. They've kept their consistency going, even through interconference warfare. Despite last week's loss, they're still 5-2. I'm looking at Jalen Hurts. Or no, not the loss, but the loss the week before. They're 5-2 after the win with baby ass team. I'm looking at Jalen Hurts, man. He's got to continue to get better. He's caught a rough patch at this point. He's throwing a lot of interceptions. He's making mistakes, and I think that he's just got to settle down, get back to playing his game, and not try to force things and let the game come to him. Once he does that, he'll be back on track and he'll be fine. I think Jahmyr Gibbs has really got to start to take advantage. He finally got into the end zone against Baltimore. He's really got to start to take advantage of the fact that he's getting all the reps and he's the first team running back, and really start to make an impact in these games, because I haven't seen it as much yet for him to be a winning player. A.J. Brown is on a hot streak right now. He's one of the best players in pro football right now, bar none, regardless of position. He's one of the best players overall. And I'm loving T.J. Hockenson. Like I said, even with especially with Justin Jefferson out of the lineup, he's got to continue to get targeted. At the end of the day, the Gaff is the better team, and they should win. They're the front runner in the Omega Conference, and I think that they are going to probably win the conference, but they need to get wins like this. I got the Gaff Attack getting this one 134 to Trey Fitty's 124. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into a pivotal matchup for Appease the Gods as they go into a war with Only for the Boss. All right, man, big one here, Only for the Boss, Appease the Gods. ATG got a big win over the Argonauts in the middle of interconference warfare, bringing them to 3-4. This game can get them back to 400 going into the back half of conference play. This is a big one for Only for the Boss. The gap out can continue for them, and they can go back into Alpha Conference play with a nice cushion. What do you think of this one, man? Only for the Boss, ATG.
Yeah, I mean, ATG just eked one out. Only for the Boss leaving, no doubt. I mean, how many times have they done that this season already? Right. I mean, Gino, I said it before, and, hey, you called them, and I've called them the last probably 3 seasons to win it, and it's played like they have been. After a shaky week 1, the Chiefs have been looking pretty damn good.
Right.
And it's been Mahomes to Kelsey has been the connection driving it. Number 1 at both positions, leading to a number 1 coach, and they're playing Denver, which, again, divisional matchup might be a little more contentious, but I still think that they can gap out. Now, the question marks here are all about these other characters, right? I'm looking at Zach Moss, Kareem Hunt, Christian Watson,
right.
Miles Sanders. These guys, to me, I've got some question marks about. Zach Moss, again, I'm curious to see when Jonathan Taylor is going to start eating into that, and I don't know, we'll see. Miles Sanders, again, Houston's got a competent defense. Christian Watson, these receivers are disappearing sometimes in Green Bay. I don't know if it's the scheme, play call, quarterback. I don't know what's going on in Green Bay.
Right.
But Browns D, I'm not sure I'd be playing Browns D just by how unsure I'm about that offense in the quarterback play. And again, this game being at Seattle, I'm not so sure. I think he could get a better option. Other side, I mean, Lamar woke up. I think against this Arizona team, him and Mark Andrews should do well.
Yeah.
Bijan, hopefully he's over the headaches. Miami, man, I thought they didn't really get Mostert involved in the game as much as they probably should have last week. Maybe that was just because they were feeling like they were getting gapped out, but they became pretty one-dimensional, and I think that Philly had that figured out. So hopefully that changes. Hey, man, Badge is looking pretty good in Chicago. We'll see. He's at least efficient.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, ATG's rolling with it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Going with McLaren, too. Again, risky play. And he's going Christian Kirk. I mean, again, every time he plays, I think he's seeing Christian Kirk is at least emerging as, I mean, he's definitely not the best wide receiver on that team, but he might be the favorite target.
Yeah, he's a favorite.
And so I like the Chiefs D play here against Denver. He trusts ATG seen a lot of Russell Wilson and knows he's capable of giving up points to a defense. And I think the Jaguars ultimately win. You know, I think that this game is going to be really entertaining.
Yeah.
I think if ATG was in a better position, this would have been a candidate for prestige matchup of the week.
Right.
But as I see it right now, I mean, this is the type of game that they need to win. And in the past few seasons, they haven't. And I'm not seeing it this week either.
Okay.
And so I've got only for the Boss winning a pretty easy matchup, actually. I'm going to go 136 to appease the gods, 115.
All right, man. You know what? I go back and forth on this matchup because there's actually some openings for appease the gods. So I'm gonna just talk my way through this one before I actually make the pick. I'm looking at in the positives for ATG. Lamar Jackson is looking like, I mean, he could try to sneak away and try to get a second MVP of the season. He's always got that potential just based on his style of play and the kind of games that he can put up in a season. They can be very memorable, and he can put up a lot of big-time plays, memorable plays along with big-time numbers. I think that he's capable of that at Arizona, but it's been interesting because Baltimore has played a lot of letdown football when they've had inferior opponents. So it's going to be interesting to see how Lamar actually comes back after that big matchup. I'm looking at Bijan Robinson, man. If he's ready to go, he should be a big-time asset for ATG. I mean, it's always a plus when you can get a 0.1 or 0.3 from a guy and still win the matchup. So, I mean, the fact that was able to happen, they can just move forward, forget about last week, and Bijan hopefully can contribute to them because he's a guy that's very talented and he should be getting the football. I'm looking at Raheem Mostert, man. He's turning into, I mean, Mr. Reliable for ATG for the most part. He was shut down pretty much in that first half, but in the second half, he was able to get loose and make some plays that were pivotal in helping them gap out to win that matchup. DJ Moore is a guy that, you know what, Badgett is showing that, hey, regardless, this is a guy that needs to get targeted over and over. It seemed like Justin Fields didn't get that message till about week 3. But now that they got the message, DJ Moore has been eating. I expect that to continue against the Chargers secondary that's not very good, and they've been giving up bukus of yards. You saw what the Chiefs did to them last week, and we've seen what they've given up all year. We saw what Dak Prescott was also able to do to them. So I expect that game can probably, I'm expecting that quarterback to possibly have another efficient outing, and DJ Moore could benefit from that. TJ McLaren is interesting. I would probably be looking at Devontae Smith here, but I also understand McLaren is a guy that's going to be heavily targeted. Christian Kirk obviously is a guy that's also going to be heavily targeted now. Only for the Bosses side, Patrick Mahomes is just, I mean, he's on a whole nother level. Him and Travis Kelce's connection is on another level. They do get Miles Sanders back in the lineup after being injured and being on a bye week. It's interesting to see how he's going to do. He's not a very reliable guy for them in the flex. That's kind of, to me, why I'm a little iffy there. Zach Moss and Kareem Hunt are both in committees, so you're kind of hoping for a touchdown from both of those guys. But they have had a nose for the end zone, both those guys, and they've paid dividends. Stephon Diggs has been huge. But he comes out early in the matchup. We'll see how that goes. At the end of the day, I want to pick the upset. It looks like it's a big possibility for it, but only for the bosses shown themselves over the last few years to just be too good for most teams. And I think they'll be too good again. I got only for the boss getting this matchup. 136 to ATG's 131. ATG shown a high scoring potential, and they may give only for the boss a scare. And moving on to our prestige matchup of the week, we got a big pivotal one for both of these teams. Both of these teams taking its second place in their respective conferences. The last chapter of interconference warfare, we have the Argonauts taking on the United Playas, the Destroyers. All right, man, big one here. This is a rematch of Pantheon Cup 5 and Pantheon Cup 11, both won by the Argonauts. Big one here for both of these teams. If either one of these teams want a chance to win their conference, they probably want to get this matchup. What do you think of this matchup, man? Argonauts, UP.
Yeah, I mean, this one has everything you want, right? I think that the scoring potential of both these teams is really exciting. What I'm not excited about is what's going on with Justin Herbert. It's not just that he's getting numbers, it's that he's making the type of mistakes that get you negatives.
Right.
And those negatives turn into L's.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if I was the Argonauts, if I would be trying to look at a package here. I mean, they've got enough talent here to try to find a better guy at the position, or maybe even somebody more consistent. I mean, Herbert's fighting an injury as well.
Yeah.
But he's playing through it. The other guy I'm looking at is Madison. I don't know if I would be starting him this week. I think that Najee Harris is probably the guy that I'd probably be going with.
Okay.
Just to give him the matchup advantage. But you look everywhere, and man, the Argos each week when I look at them, I don't see how other teams really get at them. The team is really talented. Gus Edwards is cracking the lineup given the big week he had last week.
Oh, he earned it.
Yeah, definitely did. Ravens, again, are looking really good. I think they get Arizona. Cowboys should have a field day against the Rams. I think that they should get all over them. But again, we'll see. That offense needs to get going.
Right.
The other side, I mean, Tua and company can get dumb. But again, New England, we'll see. They played tough last week. DeAndre should get going, and so should Isaiah. Didn't happen necessarily last week, but we'll see. This is kind of where it starts getting a lot more iffy for me. Tyler Lockett just hasn't been there as consistently as you'd want. Again, Rashee Rice, I think is a total miss here. I think he could do better.
Yeah.
He's got to look at his lineup because I mean, you know.
Oh, I mean, he's got options, man. He's got Nico on the bench, Derrick Henry.
But look, I don't even entertain those options because we're dealing with the UP. I mean, he could set a much better lineup than he currently has,
right?
And he should take a hot second to think about that because without it, I don't see him winning. With it, highly competitive, if not favored in this matchup.
Okay.
But as of right now, I've got the Argos in a fairly easy win, going 132 to the UP's 115.
All right, man. This is a tough one here. The Argonauts are kind of going in the opposite direction right now. The United Players are actually trending upwards. They're surprising. The Argonauts are actually starting to become a letdown. I'm looking at a lot of things going on. There's no consistency on this team right now. There's nobody that the Argonauts have. They got a lot of guys who can get them a big week, but those guys can also have a dud week. I'm talking about a less than 5-point week after having a 30-plus point week. Justin Herbert, obviously that injury is affecting him. and obviously he's a little gun shy right now. I thought the marriage with him and Kellen Moore would be seamless. It just doesn't seem like it's been a good fit so far. He doesn't seem to be seeing the field quite as well as he has in past years. And he's waiting for things to develop down the field sometimes, and those things just aren't quite developing the way maybe he would hope. I'm looking at, on the other side, Tua Tagovailoa, though. Didn't look quite as good once they were able to have success taking away that running game. The Eagles were able to really stack and slow down the run, and they were able to somewhat contain Tyreek Hill. Now, Tyreek did get loose for a touchdown, but there were some things to be concerned about that the Eagles were able to do that I think the Patriots could also do in the upcoming matchup. Now, with that spell disaster, probably not for the UP because they got strong tendencies to lean on. I'm looking at DeAndre Swift against that Washington defense. He should be in for a good right week. Isaiah Pacheco against Denver is another great play. And I think that the UP will get Nico Collins and Derrick Henry back in. Derrick Henry's got a great matchup against that Atlanta Falcon run defense. So it's a lot to like for the United players. On the Argonaut side, Tony Pollard has a great matchup. Devontae Adams closes out on Monday night. Cooper Kupp is going to be interesting to see how the targets are dispersed in Los Angeles. Nakua is emerging, as it seems. And it's going to be interesting now that Purdy's in concussion protocol. The Argonauts can't go with him, even, as your suggestion would be to go with another quarterback besides Herbert or get a package together. But George Kittle is going to probably get targeted a lot by Sam Darnold if he plays, being that there's no Deebo Samuel. Gus Edwards does crack the lineup. It's going to be interesting to see that. In the end, man, I don't know. This is a tough one. But we're going to go with the Argonauts to find a way to get by here. I got the Argonauts getting this matchup 131 to the United Players 128. Alrighty, PPLers, thanks for another great week of PPL Live. Hope you guys enjoyed us getting back for the back half of the season. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. Good luck. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the show. And may the odds be ever in your favor.